Hello and welcome to another segment of Lady Mogul Talk. Today I am excited to bring to the stage Jeanine Uqdah, who is a woman of indomitable spirit. She knows that it takes internal strength and effort to deal with yourself, understand yourself, and manage loving yourself. I'm all about the self-care, so I cannot wait to get into this conversation. These are the very messages that Jeanine cultivates through her woman empowerment brand, Just a Girl. As the CEO of Just a Girl, Jeanine is on a mission to promote self-love and kinship amongst Black and Brown women, which we are all for here at Black Women Moguls, as well as empowering the youth in her hometown of Philadelphia and other communities. With so many pressures on the world on women, Jeanine reminds women and young girls to always celebrate your authentic self. She does this by providing a self-love planner and a luxury nightwear pajamas that are provided by her sister brand, Intimates by Just a Girl. So I am excited for today's conversation and give a virtual round of applause as we welcome Jeanine to the stage. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. I'm excited because I'm all about, like I said earlier, self-care, self-love. It's very important that we pour back into ourselves. And I think we're starting to shed the superhero cape just a little bit. Well, we still have
I know. It's still there. It's like
it's still there, right?
It's still.
Yeah. So let's start there then. Why do you think that we, especially Black women, have felt the pressure to wear that superhero cape, and how can we shed it? How can we own our self-love and self-care journey?
I think for me, as I said, the cape is still on. It's trying to shed it off a little by little by little, and I really think a lot of that comes from just generational. I think we're just carrying what our parents, our grandparents are like. We're literally just and unintentionally carrying it. I think in this time of day, we don't have to as much as we do, but we're so used to what we've been taught, what we've seen, that it's almost becoming like if you're not trying to be Superwoman, then you're not really strong. You're not like, you kind of get this, I have to live up to this expectation of being the strong woman. I can do it all. I can carry the kids on my back with the bags and everything that come with it, just because of that's like the persona. So I think for me, it is really about breaking that down and really seeking help. That was one of my biggest issues, was being married, of wearing the cape and still as if I'm by myself when I'm not. It's really just not really wanting to speak up, again, not wanting to be seen as weak. And I really, had to start saying, hey, I need help. And that doesn't take away from me being a woman. That doesn't take away from my strength. So I think that's the misconception. If you seek help and you use your tribe, that you're almost, it's like, that's wrong. And it's like, no, it's not. In order to take care of yourself, you need help. So I think that we just have to learn to just break that. I don't want to call it a curse, but just that habit, of Superwoman, especially for Black women. We really we have a lot of responsibilities that we take on a lot of times, that is not even like our requirement. We just take it on. And sometimes I sit back and I'll be like, why did I say yes to that? Or like, how did I become responsible for it? Like, you know what I mean? Because you just want to say yes to everything. So I think it's literally just really just changing our mindset and not being afraid to ask for help when it's truly needed. You know what I mean? And throwing the cape on and off, kind of like being Superwoman. Like when he took it off, he took it off. But we kind of keep it on 24/7, nonstop. And I'm like, no, I want to take this thing off at sometimes.
Right. And you said a lot of key phrases about habits, mindset, and asking for help. So what was that pivotal moment when you realized, okay, I don't need to do this all. I don't have to do this all by myself. I actually need to seek help, rely on my husband, or try to find some prioritization in your life. So what was that moment that led you to that? And what advice do you have for women who are afraid to ask for the help or don't even recognize the signs right now?
That they need it. Yeah. I think for me, it truly was having my second child. My kids are about 6 years apart, so it was a big age gap for me. And I think I went into becoming a mother of two, just thinking it would just be a no brainer because I already had a child, and I really realized how much I needed to, because I almost took on the single mother role with my first child, even though I've been with my husband. I took that on so heavy when I had my first child that I just naturally took it on. I don't even know why. So I was really burnt out a lot when I had my first child, because I was just trying to do it all, do it all, do it all, and not wanting to ask for help. So when I had my daughter, I realized that I was kind of repeating the same cycle, and I realized that I didn't have to. Like, these weren't just my children. I wanted to be able to have a little bit of peace of mind, just wanting. I don't need to do it all. So that was a big part for me, because I didn't want to be the mom who doesn't lean on her support system. That was a big factor
Mhm.
for me. I needed to lean on my support system. When I had my son, he never spent a night out until he was about like 3. So I just did things differently, where it was like okay to do things that will allow me to have some time to myself and not feel guilty. Or
Mhm.
having the time that I needed, because a lot of it was my guilt. A lot of it was a lot of guilt for me. So once I started to really think about I need to take care of myself, the guilt kind of slowly goes away for me, that I'm really thinking about I have to do this for myself to be better for my children, to be better for my family, to be better for my career, for my business. It allowed me to process things differently. Whereas
Mhm.
before, I was just full of guilt that it was like I'm a terrible person if I leave my child, or so that was a really a eye opener for me, the second time around. And I think, again, as mothers, as women, it goes back to just not feeling like you're a bad person when you
Mhm.
seek support. And I mean,
Mhm.
I know there's a lot of judgment, especially mothers are judged on a whole different level. People have their opinions about what you should or shouldn't do with your children. But I just want us to know that it's okay. It doesn't take away from your parenting, your love, your care, when you have to step away and say, I need a moment. Because we all need that moment. It's just about how you do it, so that way you don't burn yourself out. You don't,
Mhm.
you're not left empty. And that's how I felt a lot of time. I was being left empty with nothing to literally give. And I needed like to refuel. I needed to really refuel. And sometimes we just
Mhm.
have to know, like, take a step back. Take a step back, and I always tell myself, whatever I'm trying to rush and do, and I'm overwhelmed with, it's going to still be there when I come back to it. And that's where I had to realize that I can just finish this tomorrow. I can finish this later. I don't have to feel like if I don't do it now, it's going to all fall apart, because it's still going to be there.
Mhm. And I'm glad you said that. I'm not a mother yet. Lord, hopefully, will bless me in the future with children. But I've
Mm,
heard that mom guilt is such a real thing, and I can't even imagine because I have guilt as it is. Just right
yeah.
now, like, well, I'm better than I was, but I used to be like, oh my goodness, I didn't get all 10 things done in a day. I'm like, okay, well, it can be done the next day. There are
Yeah.
other days that I hope to wake up to, but we always think we have to do everything right in that moment, right now, right now. But lately I've asked myself, okay, if I don't get the rest of these things done, what are like the top 1 to 2 things that I need to for definitely take today, and can I live with putting the rest off for tomorrow?
Hmm.
So, and this is like a reoccurring theme that comes up with all of my conversations. It's all about giving ourselves grace. If
Hmm.
we are pouring from an empty cup, who Lord knows what's going to happen, because that goes into our health. We might not be able to put all into what we're doing, and then it just turns out mediocre anyway. So we do need to take that
Right.
time to have that break. So I'm very glad that you said that. And how does one go about releasing that mom guilt in their life?
Um, I think when you have a good support system, and I've learned over the years, my support system doesn't have to be a size. Sometimes we feel like if we need a large support, we need to have 10 moms that are all going through. Like, you just need good, solid people in your life that can allow you to say how you feel without feeling guilty. That's a big part of when you have that struggle of mom guilt and you want to get rid of it, you need to be able to say to someone else, like, girl, these kids is really stressing me out. I need a moment. And that person understands it. They get it. You know, so when you have a solid support system that you don't feel judged, you don't feel like they're going to look at you as a bad person, a bad mother, it's way easier to allow that to go away. Because if you vice versa, having people who are telling you like you're a bad person, I would never do that with my kids. I would never, people say that, and that makes you feel worse. Like,
Right.
you know, so that part is really about not the size. It's literally going back to the quantity of the quality of who you have in your life to help let you know and reassure you that it's okay.
Mm-hmm.
And that doesn't necessarily mean that even then it has to be someone who's a mother, because it's, again, like you said, we all can get burnt out, overwhelmed, and you know, life just kind of comes at us hard. It's just a different level of your priorities when you have children, but just having good people, a good support system, a good sisterhood is a big part um of me being able to like let the guilt go away, especially as I'm trying to continue to build my business and do more
Mm-hmm.
things. I'm glad I'm in a place where my mom guilt doesn't take over as much as it used to, because I wouldn't be able to do some of the things that I have been doing or want to do in the future if I wasn't willing to give myself more.
No, that makes perfect sense. And I'm glad that you said, sometimes we can't take the opinions of others, because you have
Mm-hmm.
to do what works best for you. What works best for someone else might not be the best thing for you and your family. So I'm very glad that you highlighted that. And then, speaking of just the self-care, self-love journey, you're going back to your brand, Just a Girl. What was your motivation behind starting this brand? I know that self-care was important to you, but why was it important for you to also share this message with the world and then with your customers, your audience?
Um, so for me, I felt like there was a missing piece of us as women, young women, of women of all ages, embracing the things that make us women, that makes us, you know, the feminine side of us. I really felt that there was a lack of us being willing and not running away from our emotions. Again, it goes back to just that idea of, if I show my emotions, if I show that I'm vulnerable, if I show that I'm a woman, then I'm going to be looked at a certain kind of way. So I really wanted to go back to, at the end of the day, you know, no matter what, you know, walk of life that you're on, no matter what journey you're on as women, we can all go back to like being just a girl, you know, the things that just make us the women that we are. And I think that for me, I just wanted us as women, I want us as women to know it's okay to be yourself. You know, if you I remember days where I've been at work and I was so frustrated and I had to go to my office and cry and go back out there and get myself together, but I needed to embrace that emotional side of me that just makes me who I am and not run away from it. You know, I may not do it in front of, you know, my colleagues, but I know I need to go and process these feelings and emotions and kind of keep it moving. So I really want us as women to not only embracing our feminine side, but for me, self-love and knowing how to love myself wasn't something that I grew up learning. I said all the time, it wasn't something that was taught by my parents. It was really more so me taught to love other people, love my sister. It was never really taught for me to love myself. So
Mm-hmm.
that also is a journey that I think women of all ages are on, of just trying to figure out how to love themselves, especially in the Black community. As women, we're really taught to give to others, and we're left empty. So that was one of the things where I was on my own journey. I started to realize how many other women also have no idea even what it means. And that goes back into like who you love and who loves you if you don't really know how to love yourself. You know what I mean? So a
Mm-hmm.
lot of the things that I wanted for my business and my brand to spread to my audience is things I just didn't receive as a child or growing up. And a lot of it starts really, really young. And I don't know, I can't say what thing would I have done differently had I been taught that, but I know that if it was, I'm sure there could have been different things in my life that could have, you know,
Mm-hmm.
went different, you know, if those things were drilled into me at a younger age.
A lot of
Mm-hmm.
women do not have the self-love as prominent in their home as most would like. So how did you go about finding yourself and finding that self-love within yourself?
I felt like a lot of it came from. the struggles and insecurities I had was in my relationship. Things that I started to realize, like not speaking up for myself, things that I would be really passive about. I realized that I didn't love myself enough or knew how to love myself to really vocalize what I needed and what I wanted. Because I was really speaking from like, I was saying the things, but I didn't really know what I really needed. I didn't really, so a lot of it came from just being in a relationship and trying to make that piece work and not knowing a lot about myself. And I realized a lot of that in my relationship, that I was struggling of having my own identity. You know, a lot of times, a lot of us as women, that's when we kind of figure out like, wow, I've lost myself in a relationship. When you're not committed to someone else, you start to realize how much you don't know yourself, how much you put up with that you wouldn't expect you to put up with, or how much you, again, like I said, I was afraid to speak up for myself, or I was afraid to say how I really felt. And a lot of it came from, okay, I need to start to slow myself down and sit there and really figure out like, who am I? What do I need in reality? And like, I'm telling this person I need them to love me, care for me, but I'm like, I don't even know what that even means to love myself.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to really just start to do the work of really self-reflection is a big part of my life. And that's kind of one of the things that when I created my self-love planner, is a lot of reflections in there that really drive you as a woman to literally things that you might not think that you need to reflect on. You really sit down and you have to write that stuff out. You know, like, why am I confident? You know, what makes
Mm-hmm.
me happy?
Mm-hmm.
Those things that you just don't know how to answer sometimes until you have to really sit and do the work. So a lot of it is really doing the work on myself and reflection and not being afraid to be
Mm-hmm.
honest with myself. Like, I was the reason I allowed certain things to happen, you know, and I needed to take the ownership of the part that I played. And it doesn't mean
Mm-hmm.
that you're self-blaming, but I think when you're on a journey to love yourself and find yourself,
Mm-hmm.
you just have to be willing to own up to um things that you just don't know about yourself. And that's okay. It doesn't take away from where you're going. Like, I'm still
Mm-hmm.
finding things out by myself today that I'm just learning every day as day goes on. But it literally was just a lot of work that I'm doing every day. My planner that I've created, I use it every day in my own life. You know, I reflect in it every day.
Mm-hmm.
So it's an ongoing journey. You know, an ongoing
Yes.
journey. Sorry,
And
this
I
call
can
about.
wholeheartally agree. It's definitely a process. We might not get it all together in one day, but as long as we keep progressing, doing little things step by step, we'll get to the place where we need to be. And even when we get to that
Right,
place, it'll be a next level for us, and we'll
right.
continue that journey. So this was a perfect segue. You mentioned your planner, to talk about your planner and then what it
hmm
exactly someone can expect when they purchase it. Give us all the details.
Um, yeah. So the self planner, it's a dateless planner, and one of the reasons that I made it dateless. So I'm a girl who I love to buy like girly stuff. Like, I'll go in the Target and buy a planner because it looks pretty and it looks cute. But then you got the planner, you write in it the first day, and then you kind of put it down. So I wanted a planner that creating it. I wanted it to be something that you are going to want to pick back up. Like, not something that you're going to just throw to the side. So that's why I made it almost like a planner and a journal. The planner has each month has reflection pages. It's a 12-month planner, dateless. It has reflection pages for each month. Um, there's monthly self-care goals. So I really wanted women to be able to write down in that month what you're going to do to take care of yourself, and that can be very simple, very take a bath, go for a walk, whatever that might be, but it's really focused on you.
Mm-hmm.
I also wanted the planner to be dateless because I felt like your self-love journey is dateless. There's no date to say your self-love journey ends or starts, and that's for me. Like we said, there's nothing. I know for me, I get very I think I start a lot of things sometimes when it comes to writing and I don't really finish it. So I wanted the planner to be able to, things that I thought about that I don't connect with in the planner, I wanted to put that in this planner. So I will almost say that you can plan and you can also journal. There's a lot of reflection pages in the planner. Each month has a reflection page. So example might be, one reflection might say, I'm confident because they're very open-ended questions. Like they make you, prompt you to think. I vow to do what for myself. Um, Something that makes me happy is. So these are things that I just really wanted it to be very individual based. A lot of times our planners that you might find in the store, it goes in your career, your personal. This planner is literally just about you as a person, like your life, your self-care, your love for yourself. I wanted to be very intentional about your self-care goals. I know for me, I literally am okay with understanding that my lifestyle, I have to schedule my self-care in, and I think that that's important, being intentional about it. And there's nothing wrong with it, knowing that if I make a commitment to myself to do it, I'll be more willing to do it. I think we make commitments all the time, whether it's appointments, meetings, but when it comes to ourselves, we really slack on giving ourselves the commitment that we need. So in this planner, you'll be able to write that goal down and hopefully live up to it, to be able to go back and reflect on your weekly goal that you just need to reflect on. And I think that the biggest part for me with the planner is knowing that you can take it one day at a time. You could pick it up today and put it back down and pick it back up in 2 months and reflect back on where you were and kind of start back over. And that's the beauty of, for me, it being dateless, is your journey is dateless. We can't really say I mastered it and it's all said and done. We really can't. It would be nice to just have it be all said and done, but it's very personal. It's very girly. It's very feminine. I can even actually kind of show just like what it might look like. There's three different covers. It's a hardback planner. There's different things like affirmations in it, stickers. It comes with a personalized pen. So I just really wanted it to be. I really wanted it to be something that, like I said, it's almost like it's really sacred and special to you, that you'll be less likely to just throw it around like the rest of the plans that I've done. Like I know how I've treated them, so it really is something that I really think women of all races can relate to. It is very Black Girl Magic based. So each month has like a real life photo from different photos that I've done. Just different things that can just relate to like the beauty of sisterhood, the beauty of us as women. But like I said, I really just want this to be a step toward being intentional about fitting you in your own life. Like I had to learn how to fit myself into my own life. It might sound like the craziest thing, but I just understand that my lifestyle is a certain way, and I'm not ashamed to say, let me look at myself to see when I have time for myself, and make that intentional move. So it kind of again goes back to just the Just a Girl brand of just things that you don't even realize how much can be a big factor in learning more about yourself. Is literally just getting out of the habit of electronics, using a book and writing down, and just those little things that we just need to get back to, because I know writing helps me just debrief, decompress when I'm actually just to write down what I'm feeling on paper.
I can totally relate with that, because I don't even remember the system. I think it was an app for a certain task I had for clients, but I would forget to do things, or it wasn't like before me every single day. So what I actually started doing was get a whiteboard and wrote it out. So every day I have to stare at, I didn't do that yet. It's been a few days, I haven't done that yet. So the same thing is with the planner. I love a physical planner as well, because it holds us accountable. And if we use it, and with yours, I like that it takes it a step further to categorize your self-love journey, to make sure that you're reflecting, because that's something like, as busy women on the go, we don't do that enough. So I really love that you incorporated that in your planner. Now, audience would love to know what's next for you and Just a Girl, or it might be something that's in the works that's outside of your current brand.
So right now I am newly a part of the Brittany Miller team. So I've newly, I'm a month in of having a publicist of my own. So I'm just really, my publicist's name is Relly Sherelle. She's amazing. Just working with Brittany, the Brittany Miller brand. I've been able to step out my comfort zone and just take a leap of faith of just being able to really take my Just a Girl to the next level. I do have an event that I was able to collaborate with my girlfriend that is being hosted here in Philadelphia. It's a self-care and wellness event. We want to combine the brands of self-care and my girlfriend is a womb certified womb specialist. So she, really focuses on us as women taking care of ourselves internally. So we really just want to be able to bridge that gap of, not just caring for ourselves during special times. And most of the time for women is when you're pregnant. That's when we really want to take special care of ourselves. We want to eat right, but we want to make this like a lifestyle thing. So that event will be September 12th here in Philadelphia. And just this year, I'm just working on some new campaigns. I'm just really trying to allow myself to, for a long time, I said this all the time, a long time I didn't really see Just a Girl in the biggest light. Obviously, I've always done it from my heart, from my passion, but I've learned that I have something great that I think a lot of women can use, and just my story and just who I am, that I now see things on a bigger scale. I just wanted to do more, with in my intimates, but Just a Girl with the nightwear. They kind of just correlate off of each other because again, they're both are focused on us as women. Doing things that make us feel good and simple thing, a littlest thing like a pair of nice pajamas, it can change your whole mood. So a lot of times I'm just really working on ways to continue to get us to understand that it's the little things that can make or break how you look at yourself, how you care for yourself. So I'm just really trying. I'm just dedicated. I'm just working hard to stay consistent and always staying true to myself with whatever I do. Whatever products I might launch, whatever it is, I know I need it to make sense to me and make sense that I can relate to it before I can share with anyone else. So that's a big part. That's a big part for me. So, and just trying to manage life as a mom.
Now, we would love to keep up with your journey and what's next with you. So please let us know how we can keep up with you, whether it's social media, website, or email.
So if you want to connect, and I always tell women to join the Sisterhood of Just a Girl. This is a sisterhood that I truly want to embrace. So I always say if you want to join the sisterhood, you can follow my Instagram at _.justagirl_. It's kind of like trying to get it to be mine. You got to add all these extra things. You can also follow Intimates by Just a Girl at Intimates by Just a Girl, which is my sister brand. My website, I am Just a Girl. Instagram is the best way to find me. I've tried to get into the Facebook thing, still trying to, work that whole thing out. But Instagram and my website, I'm Just a Girl. You can shop and support through my Instagram and my website. I'm very, very personable, so I'm always open to DMs, messages, comments, just to be engaging and just to, for women to share their story. I created something called the Just a Girl movement, so I've always wanted women to share why they're just a girl, and we can kind of just spread that, that movement of why you're just a girl. So I've always welcomed women to join in and tell me why you're just a girl, and we can share with the world. Because I do believe at the end of the day, we are just a girl in some way, shape, or form.
And this has just been a wonderful conversation into your future little CEO over there. I'm sure she'll be, if she's not understanding fully right now, she will soon understand that her mom is a mogul, a boss. So thank you just for being a role model in her life and a role model in so many other lives. And we just really appreciate your time and sharing your expertise and your business with us today on Lady Mogul Talk.
No, thank you so much for having me. I really, really, really appreciate the opportunity.
Thank you. So that's it, folks, for today. Thank you so much for joining us for another segment of Lady Mogul Talk, and we will see you for the next segment. Bye.
Bye.